All right, I want to show you there's two looks that Norman gets when he's not really in the mood to work. And this is one of them. This is his I want to be silly and play mood. This is I'm ready to go for a walk or a run or something like that. Now, anyway, at his age, it's normal for him to get in modes like that. To some point, you let him get away with it and let him do it. On the other hand, sometimes you have to just kind of put your foot down and make him do what you want him to do. The other mode that he gets in when he's just kind of in an off mood and not really feeling like training or working or doing much of anything is when he gets, he feels pressured. When he's feeling lots of pressure and almost overly sensitive, he'll get a posture real similar to this where he's just kind of laying down, he'll keep his head down, he'll kind of crawl around a lot. And when he's feeling that level of pressure and that kind of pressure at his age, he's just telling you, okay, it's too much. I just can't take it all in. It's too much right now. And that means just kind of take a step back. So he has those two modes that he gets in where he's really not feeling like working. One means he needs an energy burn, and one means he's in overload and it's time to back off just a little bit. He's had too much stimulation, too much going on. Now, handling-wise, Norman's great. Really affectionate. He's a sweet boy. Don't be surprised if he's not quite as comfortable with you guys right off the bat in the beginning. But he's very tolerant of everything you could want to do with him. I do want you guys to kind of practice and work with this stuff. Offer him rewards as he's cooperative with you guys because he is an older dog at this point. So we want to make sure to reward him as you progress with him and work with him on these basic elements of handling him. Now, keeping treats on you, I want you to keep the leash handy. To keep him under control and in control in the beginning. By keeping the leash on him and letting him drag it around, you really set him up where he has to follow the rules. He doesn't have any choice but to follow the rules in the beginning. Now, next thing I want to talk to you about is just the basic obedience commands, but I want to work on some of this other stuff first while he's in kind of this keyed up mode of working. The retrieve behaviors are the most complex behaviors for some dogs. Normal retrieving, like just on a toy, is pretty simple, but there's a whole string of behaviors that goes along with it that complicates it, so to say. Number one is you have to be really careful when you discourage things to not discourage the behaviors that you want. So if you're wanting him to pick up objects and bring objects to you and carry objects, you really have to be careful about discouraging him from doing that, period. So what I mean by that is if you ever want him to pick up the remote or your glasses or things like that to pick them up and bring them back to you, you have to be really careful when you scold him and that you don't scold him for picking up objects, period. It's one of the reasons why I really stress teach him what you want him to do rather than telling him what you don't want him to do. By working with something like a leave it command, you can tell him what you want without discouraging the behaviors that go along with it later. So as opposed to me scolding him for picking up something I don't want him to pick up, I would tell him to leave it alone so that then I can channel that someplace else without having discouraged it. I can take an object like this toy and toss it. I'm going to try to stay in the camera range, so let me back up some. And toss it for him to go get it. Good boy, bring, drop it. And then have him just place it, drop it, right in my hand, tell him to drop it. And this is a pretty easy, natural behavior for him. Now, in the beginning, this is how I want you guys to work with his retrieve. Drop it in a way that's very natural and easy for him, where you just use a toy that's really easy. He'll retrieve it, go back, get it, bring it back. This is how I want you guys to work on it in the beginning while y'all are bonding with him in order to keep that behavior fresh and strong. Stuffed animals are the easiest objects for him to do. Now, because he's fresh from teething, harder objects are going to be your more plastic type objects. Leave it. He's trying to get back to the toy, so we're going to go to something a little more difficult. Good boy, Brain. Good. Notice how he dropped it that time. Well, he's got to practice the amount of pressure required. Good. Good. Nope. Because it makes noise, because it feels odd in his mouth. He's got to practice the amount of pressure required to lift it up. Leave it. Get it. And now don't let him get away with this like he's doing right now. Right now he's not retrieved it, he's not gotten it, and now he's throwing other behaviors out at me. He knows what I want him to do. So I'm going to give him just a minute to kind of work through it. He doesn't feel like doing it because that's a little bit harder. We just did something that was really easy for him, and he's not wanting to step up and go to the harder thing. We're going to kind of push him through, and this is something that's really important for you guys to see. He knows how to work through it, and you need to give him the opportunity to work through it so that he can be successful. Now, something to point out to you while we're recording here is this scratching is called a displacement behavior. That doesn't mean he's itchy. It means he's frustrated because he's conflicted about what he should be doing versus what he wants to do. And so he knows what he should be doing, and it's not what he wants to be doing. So you see the scratching going on because he doesn't feel like it right now. So leave it. Get it. Get it. Go. Get it. Good boy. Go. Good. Good boy. Good. Good. Bring. Drop it. Thank you. Good boy, Norman. Good job. That's where he knows how to do it. Good. Drop it. Thank you. Good boy. Go get it. Good. Okay, good job. Good. Drop it. Drop it. Good boy. And this is how we talk about you have to kind of push through and work through. It's easy to get frustrated that first time or two when he doesn't pick it up right away, but push through, encourage him, help him to work through it, and realize how odd this must feel in his mouth and how difficult this behavior really is for him. Now as we move to even more difficult things, like harder plastic objects, excuse me. Again, practice with him. Good boy. Good boy. Bring. Drop it. I found the hard plastic objects like remotes, phones, and whatnot are kind of difficult for him because they slide and they feel so difficult to carry without him putting so much pressure on them. So sometimes if you could put like a piece of first aid tape or even attach a small string to it. You notice with this, he picked it up by the string. So that's kind of the basics of working with that behavior. Biggest thing I can stress for you is be very careful about if you drop something. So like if you've got a bottle of water and you drop it and he rushes to go pick it up, don't subconsciously tell him, no, stop it, don't. Good boy. Because you're going to inadvertently discourage a behavior that you're trying to keep. Nope. Also, when he works hard trying to hold objects, this is a behavior we're working really hard with. What you need to do is instead of telling him no, tell him leave it. Good. Okay, get it. Good. Drop it. Now, different words. Leave it means just that. Leave it alone. Drop it means let go. Hand it to me. Get it means go get it. Bring means you got it. It needs to get to me. Fall. This is always his favorite. He will always go back to retrieving that. Now, if you ever throw a toy and he won't retrieve it, he's in that, I call it way too much pressure mode. He'll go to almost shutdown mode where he tries so hard to work and then he feels so overwhelmed with it, he just kind of stops. So if you ever throw a stuffed animal and he won't go get it, that's his way of saying, I can't do this. My brain is just not working right now, and you just need to stop with him and chill out a bit. Drop it. Thank you. So, next thing to show you and kind of work with, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Leave it. And I want to show you his obedience and how he does everything. First off, the sit is always default. He will always go to the sit, no matter what else he's done. Now, I want you guys to keep treats on you a lot. He's got enough weight on him, kind of packed on, so to say, that it's not going to hurt him if y'all feed him just treats for a few days.